The one great thing about gold and silver from all the other things that I've worked with is it's what society has used as money for thousands of years until 1971. So it's literally money. It's literally the only thing that is money, truly. Everything else is an invention or a creation by man. And when you look at how you can then step forward and truly help people that already want to move their money into gold and silver or some portion of their savings, then you realize something beautiful about humanity, that courage doesn't live within the human being. Courage is outside of us. If it was part of our DNA, we wouldn't have a word for it. So, because we have a word for it, and all the tens of thousands of conversations I've had with folks for a long, long time since, starting early back in '06, a lot more in '08 and '09, and then really seriously in 2014, I've been staring at this for a long time. And what I've learned in talking to so many wonderful people is the discovery isn't about convincing or telling people to own gold and silver. The discovery is in how my brothers and sisters on the other ends of the phone are in need, just like everyone, like most people, to find a little courage sometimes. And so, because of that awareness that I have, and I've explained that that's the focus of every phone call for anyone who works at Colonial Metals Group, that's what sets us apart. We truly get what those phone calls are about. They're not necessarily anymore about the headlines or how things are worsening. Everyone who has saved money is smart enough to understand it's worsening. And they understand that moving their money to precious metals secures their savings. They've never done it before, and that's where courage comes in. And so that's where we live in the glory of helping others, truly.
It's true. Here's the thing. I own Bitcoin. Okay, when Bitcoin first came out, I bought some because I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. And a lot of my friends were buying it and I saw it go up, but I've never actually seen it. I've never actually felt it or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
With your particular product, is it a material? I mean, does it materialize? How does the whole thing work?
Well, some investor, a bunch of people, right, look into setting up a mine, and some workers dig in the mine and they find gold or they don't. And the gold that's found makes it to mints, and the mints turn it into coins and bars. And then we help people understand, whatever might be best for their goals or their intentions. And then that their funds transfer like a currency exchange, their dollars transfer into ounces. Those ounces ship to their home or to a depository based on what the person prefers. So if someone has a big chunk of money and makes them uncomfortable to think about all that sitting in a safe or a couple safes at home, have some at home and the rest in a depository nearby. Depositories are, free of everything, free of the financial system. And one unique feature to depositories is assets held within those walls are held off book, which means they are not part of the depository's financial picture like you would experience with your money elsewhere.
That answers your question, Kat.
That's the number one question I get is like physical gold or not physical gold.
Only physical. No more
Yeah.
dependencies. No more, oh, I hope these certificates are worth some. Oh, I hope that company will deliver when it needs to. Oh, I hope that. No, 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 no. This is the time to cut free of all. So, the one thing about gold and silver, there's a term, it has zero counterparty risk.
That's awesome. And it's real. Like I can say, okay, so
Real.
Paul, I want to see my gold. Can you send it to me? And I can sit there and have it in my safe at home. Or
Yes.
you're saying that you can put it in a vault for me.
Yeah, depository, not a safety deposit box, a depository. So and they're generally in great, states that look favorably upon gold and silver, like Texas, Idaho, North Dakota, Utah. Those are the most popular depositories that people like to use, take advantage of.
Well, it was really funny because when I told Kat that we were having you on the show, and we were so excited because we kind of put this all together all of a sudden, and he was like, that is the one thing, that is the one investment that he was interested in, and knowing about how it works to diversify, because you don't want to put all of your money in one thing or in another thing. You want to be able to kind of spread it out, because one minute you're going to have gold and silver that's really high, and then the
Right.
next minute you're going to have stocks, and then your stocks may collapse, and you still got your gold and your silver, and it's actually a material.
Right, because most everyone's money is in this, right?
Right.
This is a revolutionary cannonball, obviously not fired, it would be all messed up, but this is from the Revolutionary War. This is made out of metal.
See
It
that.
makes a sound when you drop it on your desk. So if you're in gold and silver, you're in something real. When you're in this, it might be a great ride, might be a great ride for 10 more years or 10 more minutes. But when we look back at history, which is where we started, when I said, well, we kind of do know what happens, because here's two things that don't change. When Einstein says the mind that creates the problem cannot possess the solution, it's devoid of knowing what the solution is, then you look at the government with that ethic. So if they're the ones creating all the problems, they don't possess the solution. So the trajectory of the course we've been heading on continues southbound. Eventually, southbound runs into something that's a very hard stop. It's called zero. It's called bankruptcy. When bankruptcy happens, then everything everyone thinks they're worth melts back to a realistic level. One way to visualize how inflated things are is the next time you go to the bank or an ATM. I know it's hard to request $1 bills from an ATM. So go to the bank, get $33. Go home, spread them out on the kitchen table. That's how many dollars in 2024 it takes to equal the buying power of a dollar from the 20s or the 60s or the 80s. That's what it takes. 33 $1. Your dollar today is worth 3 cents. So even though the paper still says one, and it's got a pretty tough guy picture of George, Washington on there, when you think about the government creating money out of thin air, it's killing the buying power of that paper. So when that reaches zero, the game is over. And just remember what Einstein said. The mind that creates the problems cannot possess the solution. So the government isn't going to bring the solution. There's no one at the Federal Reserve poring over some blueprint left by a superior race in an Egyptian pyramid 15,000 years ago that someone discovered 6 months ago on how to turn all this around.
It's really true. Well,
now you feel alone.
Yes.
And that should help you clarify. Clarity is power. So if we can clarify what the situation actually is, we don't know the day it all goes to hell in a handbasket. Do you really want to wait till that day? Right? That's what I try to help people understand. That's how I empower others.